So I think this final battle is probably the best final battle of a movie I've ever seen. Remember last week I said the Glory final battle was the most cinematic final battle I've ever seen. But I think this one beats that one just out of the sheer duration as well. This one is about 27 minutes long, just as long as the opening scene. And this one, it just, like, there's so much going on. You really just feel like you're on the battlefield. And I think the most important part is the good guys, they technically lose this battle. Right? So, unfortunately, most of the good guys do die at this battle. At the end of the day, the only surviving members are Upham, Ryben, or Reuben, and Private Ryan, who lives to tell the story, and everyone else does indeed die. And they would have lost had they not had reinforcements come. And with that being said, let's just get into it. A huge battle. I'm going to talk about a few scenes in particular, some death scenes, and yeah.
My shield, and he in whom I trust.
So the first death happens to everybody's beloved sniper, Private Jackson. He basically carried this battle up to this point. What you have to understand is the Germans have tanks. They have a bunch of Tiger tanks, Panzers coming in, and the only way for them to really stop the tanks is to detonate the wheels. And for a detonation, if you can't get away far enough, then it's basically just suicide. So what Jackson has been doing, he's been picking off the soldiers defending the tanks, so the other soldiers can get in and detonate it more easily. However, in a very sad death scene, he does die to a tank shell. He kills almost everyone around the tank. There's this touching moment with him praying to God. He was a very religious man in this movie. He was a fan favorite. Very likable man, but he does die to a tank shell, so that's our first major character death. And the next death we'll talk about is probably the most harrowing death you've ever seen. I won't show a video clip of the scene. I'm sure you could just, after I talk about it, you could probably just YouTube it and multiple results will come up. But it is a very harrowing scene, so be aware when seeking it out. This is the other scene I was talking about. It is like very, very gory. So to truly understand this scene, you have to understand two things. Number one, the Americans were outnumbered in this battle, okay? The Germans outnumbered them quite greatly. So what they have to do is use their terrain to their advantage, because they're the ones trying to defend the bridge. So, Private Mellish, who was another sniper, other than Private Jackson, him and Corporal Henderson, they go into a tower and they're sniping German soldiers from a hole in the wall, and they're doing very well. They're picking them off very, very successfully. And Corporal Upham, I've mentioned him before, is the coward. He has been tasked with defending them from below, so no soldiers can run up the tower and basically attack them from close range, right? But he's a coward. He hasn't been in war much, like I've said. So he fails at his job, and a group of 3 soldiers manage to get up the stairs. Corporal Henderson and Mellish realize this. So Henderson shoots one of the soldiers, but another soldier shoots Henderson in the throat, and it's a very, very brutal death. He starts bleeding from his throat, and he's just choking to death, and he eventually dies. And Private Mellish shoots the other soldier, but the 3rd soldier comes in. They both run out of ammo, and they have a brutal hand-to-hand fight. And this is probably the most famous death from the movie, where Private Mellish loses. He takes out his bayonet, which is a knife, and he tries to stab the soldier, but he gets it turned on himself, and all he can do is watch as the soldier drives the knife deep into his heart. Oh my god, what a harrowing scene. And I think this is just a horrific scene because it contends with Hollywood convention, right? You expect that at the last moment. Upham comes in and he shoots the soldier in the back right before the knife meets chest to save Mellish's life. He upends his fears, but that's not what happens. Instead, we get a confrontation between the soldier and Upham after, where Upham is just crying against the wall. He failed his fellow soldier, and the German soldier lets him live, right? He doesn't kill him, he doesn't see him as a threat. But more importantly, he makes him live with his regret. Every day he would die, knowing that he was not able to help Private Mellish. And oh, just what a brutal death. I would like to clear up, this is not Steamboat Willie who did this. A lot of people believe Steamboat Willie is the one who killed Mellish, which would add to it, like his villainized character. But it is not him, it is just a Waffen SS soldier. They have very similar haircuts, so a lot of people got them mixed up, but it is not Steamboat Willie. So Steamboat Willie did not kill Mellish. Still a very brutal scene. The knife, you can literally hear it going through his skin. It's just, oh, what a scene. And finally, we have the final deaths of the final fight. So Horvath took a lot of shots in this fight, alright? He was taking bullets left and right. He was a trooper, survived till the end. He used a bazooka to blow up a tank, but he does eventually succumb to his injuries, so all we have left is Captain John Miller himself. And there's this really beautiful moment of him getting up. You know, Steamboat Willie unfortunately betrays the group and he shoots Captain Miller. So he's dying. He's behind a motorcycle and the tank is about to cross the bridge. It's about to, conquer the bridge. And he has a handgun. And this is his last stand moment. So he's trying to, blow up the tank with the handgun. Obviously that doesn't work, but he keeps shooting it, and eventually the tank does blow up, but it's from an American plane, right? Planes come in at the last moment and they save this group of people, and then Upham gets a redemption moment when he kills Steamboat Willie, but Miller unfortunately does die in front of Reuben and Ryan. And right before he dies, he tells Ryan to Earn this. Earn all of this sacrifice that has been made for you, just so you can come home, just so you can be the last son surviving. And then it fast forward in time. Ryan was telling this whole story. So it's a really sad movie. Every main character dies besides Ryan, Upham, and Reuben, and many people are mad that Upham survived because of his cowardice. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. Very great movie. Miller unfortunately dies. A lot of fan favorites such as Jackson, Mellish, Horvath, they all die. Very sad movie. So that just about wraps up my breakdown of Saving Private Ryan. I truly hope you enjoyed. Once again, very good movie. It is very brutal, and it contains a lot of pretty mature themes, so if you are planning on watching it, just keep that in mind. There's a lot of trigger warnings in it, but it is a very good film, once again, directed by Steven Spielberg. Many great actors. I mean, Tom Hanks just comes to mind. He did a great job performing in this film. I think this is one of my films of his. Forrest Gump is definitely my favorite film of his, but this is definitely up there. But again, great film. Many great actors. Matt Damon did amazing as well. So did Vin Diesel. So did others like Adam Goldberg. But overall, great movie. If I were to rate it out of 10, I would have to give it a 10 out of 10. Glory was a 9 out of 10. It was just such a great film. Great scenes. I know I talked about the opening scene and the final battle scene are two of the best war scenes I have ever seen. It's just like they hold so true to the real battle. I mean, many war veterans have said that the D-Day landings, they were exactly as depicted. They were just bloodshed all around. And Spielberg just did a great job with this movie. Unfortunately, many of the characters do die, especially in that bloodbath that was the last battle. But great movie with some great powerful scenes. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. I think next week I might stay away from war movies. Maybe let's take a break from all this brutality. I might do a different type of history movie. But yeah, I'll see you then. And make sure to check out my other channel, John the Bomb. But I'll see you then. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.